Hey there, idiots. Welcome back to Observe. If you're new here and you don't know what idiot means and you're kind of confused as to why I might call you something like an idiot, go ahead and watch the video above. It's going to explain everything fairly well. Today's video is going to be centered around Gabbie and Trisha Paytas. A lot of you actually wanted me to do Eugenia Cooney, and I'm not going to do anything centered around that due to certain aspects of the topics around her situation. They're very sensitive, and I don't want to hurt anybody who might be going through something similar, so I'm going to steer clear. I hope you understand and appreciate that. Today's video is focusing on both Gabbie and Trisha Paytas. They both have released videos, and I think it would be good to have a little bit of non-verbal, unbiased weigh-in on the situation. Also, today I'm announcing a winner of $100. Okay, so the winner of the competition is Valeria. Here's the whole name that I'm not going to try to pronounce because I'm horrible with names, but you are the winner of the $100 giveaway. I am emailing you to be able to get the details figured out. I do hope to be able to hold more giveaways like this, also some charity events here in the future, so please stay tuned, hit subscribe, do all the things, because that's going to enable me to actually do so. But I'm not going to give the rest of my sales pitch. Let's just go ahead and dive into the actual meat of the video. Now, Gabbie released a video that says, I'm back a while ago, and I am going to be reading part of that video. We're going to start 36 minutes into the video because the entire first 36 minutes is more or less her talking about some concern she has of stalking and how everything was really bad for her. Now, I know that in points of fame, when you're famous, that is actually a real concern. Stalkers and people that really do mean you harm are actually a genuine issue. And I think that might be the case on her side of things, so I'm not going to address that. What I'm going to address is the part of the video in which she kind of apologizes for being a bad person, and then how it relates to what Trisha says in a video that she more recently did. So let's go ahead and dive into these videos, and we'll just analyze the shit out of them, yeah? Also, one of you picked on me about using my phone for looking at stuff. I can see it on my phone, but just because you're upset about that, look at this nice computer that I'm using. It's a bigger screen. I hope you're happy. Let's watch.
It's not that stuff. It's the life-ruining shit. Photoshop tweets saying things I'd never say, constantly a new one, or being accused of being a transphobe, being accused of blackface, people saying I collaborated with a rapist despite no video existing anywhere, calling me a sociopath, a master manipulator, a narcissist. It's just, it feels like now, because of all of that, nothing I ever say will ever matter again. And this is not to say by any means that I've not fucked up in any way and I've never done anything wrong. Like, I know that I'm a fuck up. Trust me, I know, but I don't think.
So she's doing a defensive gesture there. As soon as she starts talking about how she's not a great person herself, she does a defensive gesture, which is fairly common. That's an understandable gesture to have there. A lot of people are charging her with various accusations. It's expected for somebody to have a bit of defensiveness about it. Let's go ahead and keep watching.
That because I haven't always done things the perfect way, that I don't deserve happiness or success ever again. But the worst part is, like, when people call you something so many times for so long, you start to believe it. And I still spend all day overthinking every interaction I have, wondering if...
Okay, so non-verbally speaking, it's in actual synchronization. So far, she hasn't shown any indicators of non-verbal misalignment, which is one of the primary indicators for deceit. So far, everything's been pretty synchronized. However, the thing is that she's not really apologizing, and she shifted the attention from her being a bad person to her being the victim, which I don't know much about Gabbie. I will be quite honest with you. I spent all day and multiple other days just watching her stuff so that I could establish who she is as a person and how her baseline lies. And I am finding this trend of Gabbie very, very rarely being in fault in her eyes. It's always somebody else's fault, despite on occasion some evidence being shown that it is her fault. And this is something that's tended in a narcissistic personality. I'm not diagnosing here. I don't have the qualifications to do that. However, it does seem to have those sorts of tendencies. So that's something that I'm keeping in mind as I read this, is that she, regardless, will probably believe herself to be innocent and to be the victim this entire time. And I can say quite confidently throughout the rest of this video that that is exactly how she presents herself. However, she also does believe that she is the victim in this situation. So let's keep watching to see if anything else pops up on this.
If I was being manipulative or rude or questioning if I'm a bad person, and asking myself if my friends and my boyfriend are all actually yes men who are just enabling my bad behavior, and I'll never know because they're yes men, and what if I'm hurting them and I don't know because I'm so far gone, and I just justify all of my bad behavior to myself, and I'm actually delusional, I'm actually crazy, and I'm just this evil fucking person. And I've spent so many hours in therapy sobbing, begging him to tell me that I was this narcissistic, sociopathic fucking monster so that I could be treated and be better. But whether I'm a monster or just somebody who's dealing with a lot of heavy shit, I can't help but feel like...
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause here because she brings up the fact that she's aware that people believe her to be narcissistic. That doesn't cancel out the fact that she very well may be narcissistic. Now, once again, like I said, I'm not diagnosing her. I am not a psychologist, so I'm not going to venture into doing that. This is a manipulation tactic in acknowledging your own faults in this way to be able to more or less still paint yourself out to be a victim somehow is a narcissistic manipulative tendency. You can see this in friendships that you have with a narcissistic person. They will admit that they're wrong at something while finding out a way to make them be a victim in that sort of situation. So her verbal pattern is showing these tendencies while her nonverbal pattern is not showing much of anything. She believes that she is the victim. She has shown no blocking gestures. She has shown no nonverbal misalignment. Everything is synchronized. And that's an indicator of her being honest, at least with what she's saying. Now, what she's saying might not be true, but she certainly seems to believe it is. I'm going to go ahead and keep watching from here.
This bomb that everybody I love is in the blast radius, and my chaos becomes their chaos, and I just know that it's hard to love somebody like that. So that's been one of the hardest things to try to deal with.
You can see a lot of action in her forehead. There's more tenseness in there. Now, a lot of people that are in the spotlight will have some form of work done on their face, and that does make it difficult to get a better read, especially in the areas of the eyebrows. However, you can see that showing through, and this is genuine emotion. She is feeling this. You can see it in the corners of her nose where she's doing a bit of a grimace coupled with that expression of pain in her forehead. That is an indicator of genuine emotion. So she's feeling what she's saying right now. As far as her nonverbal and her mindset goes, she's believing that she is a victim, and to some extent she likely is a victim, but maybe not to the extent that she's feeling she's the victim. Let's keep watching.
With and navigate is knowing that my friends and my boyfriend and my family want to be here for me and support me through everything.
Interesting mouth blocking gesture there. She doesn't do that often in other videos, that touching of her nose. Now, some people who study nonverbal communication would say that that might be the Pinocchio effect. However, a lot of science has gone into that, and that's not an actual effect. However, it does seem to be a bit of a blocking gesture, perhaps a mouth blocking gesture or a self-soothing gesture. And she does that often in this video, and she doesn't anywhere else. Now, it's all centered around her nose, so that could just mean that her nose itches in this video, which is possible, or it could be her subconscious telling her to hush up because she doesn't believe what she's saying. So that's something that I'm taking into account here and trying to consider as I continue forward.
And that they've had to live through this too, so I don't know, man. A lot of people say that I'm not meant to be in the public eye, and maybe that's true. I'm so fucking sensitive and I take everything very personally. I'm so fucking insecure and very self-conscious. I have no fucking self-esteem, and it's difficult for me to just let stuff roll off of me. I catastrophize everything, so sometimes it's hard to tell if things are as bad as they feel or if I'm just living in an echo chamber of my own thoughts, and I'm just always overthinking my every move, and I blame myself for everything as it is. So when everybody's blaming me, I want to fucking die because it makes me hate myself so much more than I already do, and I just like most of the time it feels like I don't belong, and at times it feels like I'm suffocating and I feel like I can't breathe, but I just can't let that be the reason I stop doing what I love. Like, I need to make music. It's the only thing that makes me feel truly alive and feel like I have a purpose. And when I really wanted to die a couple years ago, I had this moment where I was sitting in my old dining room in that shitty fucking apartment that I lived in for fucking ever, and I felt empty. And then it was like this energy was thrown into my chest, and it was filled with music and love, and it was this magnetic connection. Like, I've been wandering around this earth, and when I would get a little bit close to it, I could feel that vibration of that magnetic force in my chest. And then one day I just got close enough for that magnetic field to like suck it in, and it's been there ever since. It's never left. And yes, I smoke a lot of fucking weed, but it saved me, damn it. I just want to be to people what artists.
Little bit of humor in there. Hey, whatever floats your boat and whatever helps you get out of a dark place. Now, here's the situation. I don't think that anybody, regardless of how terrible of a human being they are, should ever be in a position where they feel like they should kill themselves. I just never, ever think that's a good thing. When she's talking about that, immediately my heart ends up going out to a person that talks about that sort of situation. I've been there, and it's not a good time. And so whatever got her out of that is good. Regardless of who she is as a person, I'm glad she's out of that. But once again, this isn't her owning up to any sort of wrong that she's done. During this entire video, we've already passed the part where she's taken responsibility for the wrong that she's done. And if you didn't notice it, that's because it was pretty hard to pick out. That doesn't excuse her from having to apologize to the people she's hurt. Speaking of that, we're going to go ahead and frolic away from her side of things and visit Trisha Paytas. I had no idea who Trisha Paytas was until I started looking into this entire case. And now I can say that I honestly have had more of all of this side of YouTube than I've ever really wanted to have. But I'm hoping that my uninvolvement in the entire situation helps add a little bit of level-headedness to everybody yelling and accusing stuff. But speaking of yelling and accusing, it's about to be a bumpy ride, guys. Let's go ahead and buckle up and head down this road.
Dear Gabbie Hannah, the craziest bitch that can't either stop lying or know she's a crazy bitch. I have never, ever in my life, truly in my heart, felt someone needed psychological help the way Gabbie Hannah needs help. Hi!
Okay, right off the bat, she has a very, very obvious persona for what she's putting on. Now, there's the chance that this is how she acts in real life, and that would be a case of a persona bleeding over into your real life to eventually you play a character for so long that you become that character. And this was a messy situation, guys. This was a messy video episode to create, to study, to prep for, all the way around.
Just watch your drama alert. You're so cute. You're so cute. I love that we can just like laugh about this now. So cute, but it seems your memory has escaped you. And I don't know if this is an issue for real that you're dealing with. Like if you're actually dealing with like early onset dementia or something, like it really does feel that way because Keemstar said, oh, Trisha still likes to poke fun at you. Yeah, because she keeps bringing up my name in the podcast, which is why I did the first video, which she's bringing up like, hey, I don't even know why this started, which she's bringing up again in Drama Alert, like, hey, I don't know why she's talking about this in November. Oh, you don't? Oh, Gabbie, let me refer you to tons of videos down there that have showed fact for fact.
I'm not gonna lie, this entire thing has some real Shane Dawson Instagram Live kind of vibes to it. It feels like emotion that's maybe being a bit amplified non-verbally to really drive home a point, which, like I said, that's part of the persona. I feel like Trisha's persona is very over the top. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're a hardcore Trisha fan, please let me know if that is how she is. But from what I can tell, that is how she is.
Date by date, you posting in November that I had herpes yet again on your Instagram story. Up until that point, yes, we talked privately when you kept wanting to hang out with me in May and June. And I said, hey, Gabbie, this is why I don't want to be your friend. Okay, cool. November is when you posted it on your Instagram story after you kept asking everyone I hung out with if I talked shit about you, which is why I made the video to let you know this is why I talk shit about you and this is why I don't like you. Which is why I made the video, because you posted on your Instagram story that I had herpes. You did not blur out my name. You put Trisha fucking Paytas in your Instagram story when you asked Gabbie DeMartino why, if I talk shit.
So apparently there's a lot of people that have seen this and have confirmed this to be true. So she's telling the truth in this part, but that's not through her body language. There's so much play acting going on in her nonverbal communication that it becomes almost impossible to read, which is a frustrating thing as an analyst to be able to watch because it's just a mess. It's an actual mess all the way around. Also, it's very clear that Trisha has had work done on her face, which is gonna 100% make it more difficult to read. If the muscles can't move, they can't communicate. We'll just go from there.
About you, and she goes, well, she had to try and be like, oh, she kind of did, I don't know. I do. You're a terrible person. You're an actual terrible person. I actually kind of started feeling kind of bad for you when you had that mental breakdown, and I literally was like, hey, just get off the internet. And then you know what? You got off the internet. I was like, oh, cool. Maybe she took time to like.
A lot of weird fidgety gestures with her collar and shirt, though. That's usually an indicator of agitation. If somebody's fidgeting with something, they're not comfortable with what's going on. And that would make sense if she's agitated about what Gabbie said in this podcast that's being mentioned, which is a drama podcast, which is also interesting because apparently at another point, Gabbie said that she doesn't want to be involved in drama, yet obviously she does.
You know, really like cleanse herself, because I get it. I get a mental breakdown on the internet and like having to cleanse yourself. But the fact is, you come back and you're doing an interview with a drama alert about old fucking drama. Why? Because you as yourself have admitted that you just want people to get views to your music. You laugh about it constantly. This whole plan where people are listening to my shitty fucking music. Bitch, if this is how you want to stay relevant, fine. That's totally fine. You are the one person that I despise more than anything because you don't know how to seek help for yourself, and in return dragging others down. Also, you can't keep lying on me. You can't keep saying, I don't know why it was brought up. Bitch, there's hundreds of videos showing that you have in fact started this drama. Did I ever want to mention your name ever in my life? No. It's embarrassing to be associated with you. It's so embarrassing. I feel so bad for the people who have collabs with you. It's embarrassing.
Jesus. If I didn't know better, I'd think that Trisha didn't like Gabbie or something. She's actually angry. I know it's hard to see on her face, especially in her eyebrows where a lot of anger is displayed, but throughout the rest of the synchronization of her body as she's gesturing, her pitch and her tone, the words that she's using, all of it is constant. So this is a point of genuine anger and frustration and agitation coming from Trisha. And it's showing a little bit through her very thick skin of this persona that she's put on, and probably justified. From what I can tell, from the research that I've been able to do, and from what I've seen, it's pretty well justified. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and keep watching this display.
And you know what? The only person more embarrassing on the internet than myself is you. And that's pretty fucking low. I'm just watching.
Okay, this is a part of her persona. You could see when it had that cut, there was that expression that was already on her face, and it sat for a little bit too long. That's a forced expression, so this part is where she's really kind of hamming it up for the reaction, the clickability, the drama side of everything. She's really pushing it a bit.
Watching this like I'm going shot by shot with this Keemstar. She just said yes. Trisha has asked me to text her. I go, oh, bitch, where? Bitch, when? Oh my God, bitch, where? Bitch, when? As my fucking boyfriend. One time you called me, it came up as Gabbie ignore, and I was just like, oh, like I got scared. I was like, oh, why is she calling me? And I was assuming it was a butt dial. Bitch, when did I? Oh my God. Oh my God. My heart.
Got a lot of Shane Dawson vibes on that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Little hamming it up. This is a performance. This is a performance that's happening here. Non-verbally, this is a performance. Trisha's feeding into it. Yep.
Is racing. This girl is an actual psychopath. Oh my gosh. Gabbie just, I don't want to see her burn or be hurt. Bitch, you're trying to hurt me. What are you talking about? What are you? I've actually never dealt with an actual psychopath. And I'm not saying that lightly. And this is a psychopath. Like, look up the definition of a psychopath. Like, making up shit out of literally thin air.
Okay. I'm not going to keep watching the video. That is all that I'm going to do for this analysis. I know that this one was a little weird because there wasn't too much of an apology on either side. It's a little hard to catch if somebody's being disingenuous when they themselves believe that they're being genuine. So this is an instance of two seemingly narcissistic people having very narcissistic views that conflict with each other. So Trisha believes 100% that what she's saying is true, albeit she does ham it up an awful lot for the views, for the drama's sake, because it gets clicks and it gets her money. And Gabbie does believe that she is genuinely the victim, that none of this is her fault, this all happened to her. She's got maybe a teeny tiny role, but everything else is more or less just terrible for her. And she genuinely believes that, once again, a sign of narcissism. Everybody sucks on some level. That's all that I'm going to talk about for this analysis. If you would like to see other different analysis, let me know in the comments below. Next on the list is Paris Hilton, and apparently she's talked about some stuff in a new drama documentary thingy that she's released, so I'm gonna take a look at that and see what we can. But if you liked this video and you would like to see more, hit like, also subscribe, ding the bell. I think that helps. I'm not sure that it does, but I think it helps. And if you would like to be able to help make more videos possible, there's a few ways you can do that. You could do that through Patreon, you could do that through my Audible affiliate link, and you can also do that by buying merch in the description below. Again, Valeria, I will be reaching out to you via email to be able to get you your $100. And I think that's more or less it. So, without further ado, that's all that I've got for the day. My name is Logan, and you have been oh so awesome, as you always are. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.